Yeah, I just want to be the greatest.
This week's video is brought to you by Patreon show sponsor, The Third Era. Not only does he have his own YouTube channel, he's got a brand new website, thethirdera.com, where you can purchase custom t-shirts, custom stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. I will leave links in the description below. Make sure to check out thethirdera.com. It's your boy HifiVega back again, and today we are doing an awesome $450 build all in. This includes the wiring, the amp, and the speakers. This does not include a head unit. You'll see more on that later, and it does not include a sub. Now, my intention with this was to kind of do a car audio spin on a project that my good friend over at Toids DIY Audio, Nick, done, and it was a desktop speaker set called DINAS. And DINAS is an acronym, and it stood for Do I Need a Subwoofer? Now, whether you think this build will need a subwoofer or not is a personal preference, but let's get into the setup, let's get into the build itself, let's get into the components, and let's listen to it, and then we'll come back with a conclusion and we'll have a better idea of what's going on with this build. So first off, I had to redo the amp rack here, and as you can see, I did have to recycle some carpet because they did not have the correct color in stock at my local store, but I just needed something simple, out of the way, right on the back of the seat, so my wife doesn't have to worry about it at all. I'm sorry fellas, I didn't have time to clean up the car before I done the install. I was in a bit of a time crunch, but the wraps are in the door. Let's set this kicker key up. Since I'm switching the system up and using passive in the front and coax in the back off the one amp, I will have to change a few of these dip switches here. The first one is the time delay. I will go ahead and leave that on. The second one is the kicker cue. I will leave that on. Next one is the bi-amp mode. I will switch that to off. The compression, we will leave that off, and we're ready to go ahead and set up and see what it sounds like. Alright, as you can see, I've got a unique setup going for the key this time. I originally had this tuned for one seat, but I'm often the passenger in this vehicle, so I've got a piece of PVC pipe set up here, and I'm going to go for a 2-seat tune. I've got my pink noise disc right here. We'll go through the process and see how it sounds up. It is a bit forward from where I would be. I'm going to see what it sounds like, and if I need to, I can move it back later and redo the process. Grab your favorite speakers, grab your favorite headphones. We're going to do some demos, but remember, before you give me so much guff about track selection, I gotta use the royalty-free stuff, guys. All right, we're back with the final thoughts on the $450 build. I am pretty impressed with a lot of things about this build. It pretty much exceeded my expectations. The bass is really strong for a factory type setup, factory locations, no subwoofer. All we have is 2 mid bass in the front door and 2 sets of coax in the rear. And for this setup, this is my wife's setup. I think it's absolutely fine without a subwoofer. This is plenty for what she needs. It's up, it's out of the way. She does not have to mess with it ever again. I think it's great for that. Now, for us enthusiasts, we're probably gonna want a sub just because you can get that little extra nuance to sound when you're not pushing your mids so hard. This setup is a little bass heavy on the tune with the kicker. I could probably tweak that a little bit in the factory head unit if I wanted to, but I do like the bass heavy sound. I may back it off just a bit. One of the cons of the system right now is the tweeters are a little bit dull, a little bit too much rolled off. There is some crossover settings in the passive where I can, you know, turn those up just a little bit and get a little bit more out of them, and I think I will do that in the future. As far as the setup for $450, let's break it down. The kicker key, $250. That is basically your DSP, your amp, and your line output converter because it's gonna do everything. You just run the signal to it. The speakers, the Savard Rap 6.5 component set, that's $110 shipped from Amazon. I will leave a link in the description below, affiliate links for every single product. So that brings us to $360. The Rockford Fosgate Prime 6.75 inch coaxials in the rear are $40. That brings us up to $400 even for the speakers and the amp. And then last but certainly not least is the Knu Konceptz 1/0 CCA wiring kit. Now, I've been running this kit for well over a year now and have not noticed anything crazy. You can spend a little bit more and get a 4-gauge OFC kit if you want, but that lands at $40, bringing this system to $440 shipped out the door. I think that's a fantastic deal, and it's a good base. With the 1/0 CCA kit, I know a lot of people hate on it, but you know, it is what it is, and if you use it within its means and what it's rated to do, I think you'll be just fine. But you know, that's up to you. If you want to get the OFC kit, you know, it's just going to bump up the price about $100. That's not terrible, and I think it's absolutely worth it to bump the kit up $100 for the OFC kit, because then when you add your subwoofers, you can add a very big amp and you will be okay, assuming you take care of the rest of your electrical, battery, alternator, or whatever you're gonna do. It's a good foundation. All this being said, I think this is a great setup for $450. It's hard to beat. Let me know what you guys would do in a similar type of setup, meaning something for your wife, something that you're going to be a passenger in and not really the main driver of. So that's it. That's the $450 system. Let me know what your system would be in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next video.
I want to give a quick shout out to all my Patreon supporters, but a special shout out goes to the 6-star or more members: 2001 Monolithic, The Third Era, G Nava, Joaquin Juarez, Byron Chambliss, El Fuego, Travis McClendon, Brandon Hanna, William Berg, Boxboy Audio Sound Solutions, Jesus Tires, Orion the Great, Chris Hanley, Dennis Cromwell Jr., Jason Diet, Vin Quach, Scott Dilbick, D Stewart, and Derek Simpson. For as little as $2 a month, you can join the team and get Patreon exclusive behind the scenes content. So check your boy out, patreon.com/HifiVega.
Make the ground shake.